What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to RHPD podcast. I'm jtdalllis.
I'm Voodoo.
We're excited for you guys to be listening and watching tonight or today or this morning, whatever it is when you're watching this. First off, I'm going to start. If you read the title, this is the first bonus episode. We missed our regular episode this week due to some emergency stuff. I'm not going to get into it.
I guess that's
unless he wants to get unless you want to get into it, but due to some emergency stuff, we just kind of cut this week's episode. We'll touch up on it in our regular episodes, but like I said, this is a bonus episode. Like I said, we are super excited to have you listening and watching. Be sure to jump in the comments and join our conversation. Today's episode is definitely going to be a little different. We'll be talking about how we got into NASCAR, some of our favorite moments in our journey, and we'd also love to hear your stories as well. So I say let's jump right into this, and I'm going to let Voodoo go ahead and talk about how he got started into NASCAR. So go ahead, my dude.
All right. So when I first got introduced to it, I want to say I was probably in my young teenage years, maybe. Back when Mark Martin was still racing in the number 6 car, and had Winn-Dixie as a sponsor. You can remember way back when. Used to have his little cutouts and stuff around the Winn-Dixie that my mom and I used to go shop at. And I would say the biggest reason why I kind of went after him when I first doing it was because obviously the cutouts. But my first name was Martin, so that part there. And then my stepdad, his first name is Mark, so that kind of was pretty cool to have both of the names in place for a driver that was racing. I wouldn't say I followed it like super close, but he would be the one I would go after with his Valvoline and his Winn-Dixie and eventually Viagra. Right. But yeah, that's pretty much where I got introduced to it, was actually while grocery shopping. I didn't follow it super close back then. I did pay a little more attention to it.
Yeah, you definitely had more of a, I'm going to say a NASCAR presence around you just by where you live. Because I hate to tell you, but in Oklahoma, people sometimes watch NASCAR, but it's not near as big like as we went out to like North Carolina, South Carolina. We went out there recently, and I just got to like witness. It was the first time I'd ever really seen how big NASCAR really was. Where I live, I'm like the only one that I feel like. I mean, there's fans, don't get me wrong, but most of them really kind of jumped off the train when Dale Earnhardt died.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you got to see something that was kind of cool. But go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, you didn't interrupt. This is a little casual conversation. We're just jumping back and forth, reminiscing, you know.
You talked about that cutout that you and your mom used to see. So my first, well, not my first memory, but we had a cardboard cutout that sat at my grandparents' house, and it was Matt Kenseth for Arby's. I don't know if you remember when he drove for Arby's.
Yeah.
But like, I remember my grandma like not really arguing, but like telling the manager that like when we leave this Arby's, because we were out of town, not too far, you know, it was in our area, but we were out of town. She was telling the manager, she's like, when I leave this Arby's and that cardboard cutout goes missing, I have no idea. And the manager's like, oh yeah, right. And then I remember getting shoved in a car and actually being taken home, and the manager was like, well, she did tell me. So it's just funny to hear like you remember like the cutouts and stuff, and I feel like there's not a lot of that anymore. But
No, well,
sorry.
I haven't really seen it recently for sure. Not at least in person. I have been seeing a lot of like posts with cardboard cutouts, but like you mentioned, in person, it's not very common themed anymore. But jumping back to you,
I do.
saying that where I'm from was big in NASCAR. Technically, where I was raised, it was not. I was raised in southern Louisiana, close to, about 20, 30 minutes outside of New Orleans. So it wasn't really a big NASCAR following out there. I didn't really dive into NASCAR until probably after, well, I guess I was part of AIT. Because I went to South Carolina for basic training. We didn't get to watch TV there. We couldn't really blame it here. But I did go to Georgia for AIT. So it's kind of in that realm of the woods. You got Atlanta that's not too far off from where I was. But I would say that's where I kind of more closely started following it. Was AIT, which was right after I graduated. So that was 2005-ish when I graduated high school. So.
Are you ready to feel old?
Wasn't even born yet.
No, I was born. I was 5 years old.
Hey, somebody's got to be old around here and make the rest of y'all look young.
I mean, you're only, 13 years older than I am?
We won't go into detail. Yeah, I would say AIT, I did that for 6 months in Georgia, and then I went to Hawaii. And when I got to Hawaii is where I really picked up. Started this collection you see behind me, where it originated.
So, on your collection, okay, so I got 2 questions, okay?
Alright.
Do you have your first car still? Because I know you said some of them got stolen.
Technically, I would say no.
Okay.
I do have a version of my first car, but I don't have my
I'm
first
talking about
car.
the actual first car.
No, could pull it down here, but I'm not going to. But I have remember the silver one that I showed you that I got signed? I had the original version of that one that was like blue Looney Tunes car and all that stuff. That was the first one I got, but I don't have it.
I've got the 118 of that one. A regular, blue with the, what is that, the 2002 version, I think?
Yeah. Oh, this is rookie season,
Yeah. So I've got the 118 of that one. All right, so my second question about your collection. If you had to get rid of all your cars, but one, which one would you keep?
How about I just hang up on you and forget that question?
No. I hypothetically, okay, let's just say this. And knock on wood, it doesn't happen because I'd feel bad. But say your house is burning, okay, and you got all the important things out and you can grab one die cast. What would it be?
Would it be bad if I took the same car?
The same one? Okay.
The one with the signature on it. Like,
yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I didn't think about that one.
The throwback.
But,
The throwback Darlington one, the 2.7
so
times,
nice.
close second. They could have to pass that one up for the signature.
But
what about you? Still got your first vehicle?
Well,
I know you.
I do.
You're not
actually,
just a Jimmy
and
Johnson fan.
Oh no. Well, I am a Jimmy Johnson fan, but I don't collect just Johnson like you do. Yeah. I guess I can go ahead and talk about it. I was going to talk about it later in my segment, but so my first car I actually got with my grandparents. My grandma was the one that introduced me to NASCAR, and she started watching NASCAR in the late 70s. She told me stories about watching the first televised from green to checkered start. She remembers watching that on TV. So one day we were going to Lowe's with my grandparents because my grandparents watched me before I started school. Because my parents worked. Well, I was a Hot Wheels kid. Mm-hmm. So like anything with 4 wheels I wanted, right? So we found this. Do you remember like the old school like rugs that had roads and stuff in it?
Yep. I had a few of those myself.
Yeah. So my grandparents bought me this, and so I was 2 at this time, but I still I can still see getting it. Like I can see us putting it in the cart and all that. You know what I mean? And in that set there was a Jimmy Johnson car, and it was like a bundle. It wasn't like they marketed it like that. It was just our Lowe's was doing that, if that makes sense. If you bought this rug, you get a car.
Yeah.
So I still have that, which I could get up and go get it. And it is one of those cars that like is super, what's the word I'm looking for? Sentimental. It's super sentimental for me to have. Like I told Haley, my wife, if you guys don't watch, Haley's my wife, and I'll talk a little bit about her later.
Talking about it.
I told her
what's
that.
wrong with you?
I know. You know those frames that they make that's got like the plastic in between them that you put whatever you want to stay in those frames, and then you lock it. It looks like it's floating.
Yeah.
I told her I want to get one of those when we move, when I have more room for my collection, because I'm telling you guys, one day I will do a video of my entire collection when it's all put up. I have a lot more stuff than just the Authentics behind me. Like I collect t-shirts, all that. So I told her I really want to get one of those just to preserve it, because it is in very rough shape. Like the paint's peeling, you can barely see the rookie stripes. The roof is smashed in. You've seen it, I think, on the webcam. Like the roof's smashed in, the windows are gone. Surprisingly, it has all 4 tires. It's just been through hell and back, right? So that's my first car.
Hey, you gotta hold on to them if you can.
Oh yeah. That's not my favorite though. I asked you the 2 questions. I guess I can answer them. If I had time to grab just one car, if I had time just to grab one, I don't even know if I'd say car. Just like one item. I have it. Kind of hard because it's not really in my house.
Yeah.
It's either, okay, so it's a 3-way tie.
Nope. You gotta pick one.
Well, let me just kind of explain my 3 ways and then I'll pick one. How about that? So I've got my first car. I'd have to like really consider grabbing just because it's my first car. My second item is I had one of those like big RC Johnson cars. You know what I'm talking about? Like they're huge. They're like probably about a foot and a couple. But it's an RC car. I've had it since I was little. Or I have a Support Our Troops tire from 2006, I think. I don't know. I can't remember. But I have a Support Our Troops tire I'd have to take. And if I'm being honest, I'd probably just grab my first car because it has more sentimental value to me. That's my number 1 pick. But it would be a hard pick. You know what I mean?
Definitely. I feel you. I'd probably grab a tub and just start throwing all the diecast in it and carry the tub out.
Oh, yeah. Sorry if it scratches. It's going with me. Oh, speaking of diecast, so I have learned a hack off TikTok, okay? Uh-oh. I don't know how regularly you clean your diecast, but I do mine probably about once a month. If mine are out, I will clean it once a month, okay? Well, there's this stuff that you can get at like AutoZone or O'Reilly's called like Scratch Off or something like that. And what it is like a cleaner for your actual car. What it does is it removes scratches and all. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. If you just take a little bit of that and put on a cloth and wipe, like a microfiber cloth, and wipe down your diecast, it'll bring them back to like new. So it'll refinish the windows where it makes them look more clear. It takes away the scratches and stuff like that. Yeah, I've seen it like the before and after while he's doing it. You know what I mean? The guy that I follow. And I'm gonna get one on some of my like lesser like diecast just in case it messes it up. I'm gonna try it and I'm gonna update you guys. But if you have diecast and you're really proud of your collection, I'm gonna try it. I'm not gonna say do it because I don't want to be responsible for all that. But
right. I might have to see if I can count my Battle unit into getting some of that. If I can take better care of these.
I priced it. It's only like for like a bottle, like a pretty good sized bottle, probably about like that. It's about $10, right? But you only use a little bit per car, so it's not like you're just dousing the cars in it.
Yeah,
but anyway, I got one more question for you on your collection, and then we can move on. If you could have any piece of NASCAR memorabilia or diecast, what would it be?
Probably being greedy for saying anything, and you didn't set like a...
No limit. No limit. Anything. If it's related to NASCAR, no price is not an option, all that. Anything.
Right, so I do got a fancy little setup here for our NASCAR Heat 5 racing. But I would like is for me to have the cockpit of one of Jimmy's cars that I could sit in, that have the monitors in front with the actual NASCAR style steering wheel and gear shifter and pedals and all that stuff. That'd be awesome. Doesn't have to move, awesome. But if it moved, that'd be even better.
Right. So I was thinking while you were saying that, I was like, man, wouldn't it be really cool just to have a stock car to like pull around to different races and stuff?
Right. Yeah. Load it up on the trailer.
Like, can you imagine having like Jimmy's like 2009 Coda car just to pull around and like, you know what I mean, just to show off? I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, I wonder how much it is
if it has
to get one of those.
Oh Lord, you probably have. I say that I have seen a Dale Jr. car. Now it was a roller, so it didn't have an engine or anything, but it was the stock car. It was his. I want to say it was one of his amp cars. It wasn't a Coda, but it was what was it? Series 4? Isn't that the one before Coda?
Maybe. I think so.
Anyway, the 4th gen, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It was one of those. They were selling it in Kansas, I want to say. And for the roller itself, like it didn't have the engine or transmission. It was like $4,000, which isn't terrible. I mean, if it was me, I'd want to put an engine and stuff in it and take it to like car shows and stuff. But at the same time, I'd be scared that somebody'd like hit it or scratch it.
I would definitely still set it up for them racing. So
yeah.
I would build a house around fitting it inside of it.
Build a garage specifically for it.
Right.
But
so before we jump down, I forgot to mention, like I mentioned the Mark Martin thing as far as first introductions to NASCAR, but around that same time, my uncle was a big diecast collector, and he had, I mean, you can see my collection behind me, he had probably like 4 times the size of it of Jeff Gordon cars. So around that same time that I saw the Mark Martin stuff, like I would go over to my uncle's house and see his collection. It was pretty cool.
So I've never really been a Gordon fan, but some of the stuff that he put out was, I'm not gonna lie.
Well,
like,
I mean, he had a paint company as his doggone sponsor.
Oh yeah. like not even just that, like just like his memorabilia that was put out. You know what I mean? Like his Pepsi cans that actually had die cast in them, his walkie-talkie, his everything. That's one thing that I wish modern NASCAR would do. Like, I love looking at memorabilia from like the 90s because, like, well, you can't see it right now, but they've got this really cool jacket right here. It's Jeff Gordon. I've got a phone, like a landline phone that I have his car and I have his hauler. I have Legos of Jeff Gordon. I have, like I said, a Pepsi can that has his cars in it. They had like everything. You could buy stuff for your Nokia to make your Nokia look like a Jeff Gordon car. Like, I wish that they would have stuff kind of like that today, where it wasn't just like, oh, here's a phone charger or a phone case, you know what I mean? Or a t-shirt or a hat. I wish like they would get really creative. Like, I wish DeWalt would come out with a Chris Bell tool set. It'll be expensive, but I'd have to have it.
I can see you getting it.
You know what I mean? Like, just different functions. What is it?
I said I can see you getting it.
You dang right, and it would never leave the box. That's the problem. But like, I just wish that like NASCAR would get more imaginative, like they were back in the day. Like, take a look at like some of the coolers that come out. Like in the early 2000s and 90s, they had like mock cars that sat on top of them, and it was so cool. You know what I mean? Just looking at. If you guys have never done it, just go on eBay and search retro NASCAR, and there's no telling what you'll find. I promise you. Like, you'll find calculators and rulers and pencils and, you know what I'm saying? I wish they would market it better.
Like, you used to be able to go out and like all the different holidays that were rolling around, there'll be something as far as like a big driver.
NASCAR.
Like, I could remember like way back in the day, there used to be Christmas decorations of like Jimmy Johnson's car and stuff that you can get that were blow-ups and stuff.
I in fact have 2 or 3 of them. I have a stocking of Jimmy Johnson. Not just a big one. I have a big one and then one like this big. Like, you can ask my wife. I have a collecting problem, okay? And eBay is not my friend.
Not a problem.
They are, but they're not. I mean, look at the wall behind me. It's full of authentics. I mean, that's all. You can't even see all of them. I've got some over there, and that's not including my winner circle that are over on that wall. I don't know. I've just, ever since I was really little, I've loved collecting NASCAR, and that's kind of what's fueled my like drive for it, because I want to know the drivers. I have NASCAR cards. I have pretty much anything NASCAR. I even have a wooden Bible cover. It's not really a cover. It's like a holder that has Mark Martin on it. I have, you know what I mean? Like stuff like that. I just love how like older NASCAR, they made everything, anything. And now you can get a t-shirt, a die cast, a hat, and maybe a koozie.
Yeah. Not very much. Like, what was it? Talladega last season, I went to their little merch hauler for Legacy Motor Club to try and get some Jimmy Johnson stuff.
Yeah.
Literally about all they had was t-shirts, hats, stickers, and the die cast. They didn't really have anything else.
I was lucky enough. I was gonna say I was lucky enough to get a license plate, because that I do collect. I've started collecting license plates because I want to do a wall of license plates.
Don't run out of walls.
I want anything and everything. Well, I have a moderate collection, I will say. Not that big of a one yet.
Don't turn into one of them Texas Roadhouse restaurants.
Like, so I'll send you a picture of Voodoo later. That is my goal for I think I showed you. No, the Jumbotron was my idea. Like, not my idea, but my addition to that. So I told Haley that when I get a room set up, do my man cave eventually, hopefully. I want to take a bunch of small monitors and stuff, or small TVs, and make a miniature Jumbotron. And during race days, I want the race on, 2 sides, or at least a side, like the regular broadcast, and I want to run in-car cameras.
You know, they got those LED panel things now, right? Make as big a TV as you want.
No. I want like a jumbotron. Like, think of like a basketball, like jumbotron, where it's like hanging from the ceiling, and it's got 4 different TVs on it and stuff.
Yeah, I could see that.
And I want a pool table, like the one that I sent you the other day.
That might look better in like a dark blue.
One day. Dude, I get this room set up, you might have to move down here just to take advantage of it.
That would be moving up there, sir.
You knew what I meant. But anyway, I just, like I said, one day I want to run through my collection and just kind of show off some of my stuff, because I do have a small museum.
Yeah, I'll do the same thing, but it won't take me as long to get through it compared to his. Mine's nothing.
That's gonna be a 3-hour episode.
But hey, I'm still adding to it.
Yeah. See, but the difference is you collect one driver.
Yeah.
Which I think you definitely have more of that one driver as far as diecast.
Yeah, but you got more of every driver. But this one.
Yeah. But anyway, so since you talked a little bit about your background, I guess I could jump into mine. I kind of touched on it. I told you about how I went and got my first car with my grandma. So my grandma was like the one that kind of, I wouldn't say ushered me into the sport, but like she watched it every week, and then we were over there a lot. So I just eventually started paying attention to it, because I love my grandma, but on Sundays you watch the race, and on weekdays at 11 you watched Young and the Restless, and nobody changed it. That's just the way it was.
Sounds like my mama.
Which, I mean, I never got into the Young and the Restless, so NASCAR was the only thing. But I remember turning on the Speed Network, and we would spend all day, besides that 11 to 12, we would spend all day watching the Speed Network. So we ended up, watching monster trucks. We'd watch boats, drag racing. We'd watch regular drag racing, dirt track. It didn't matter. Racing, my grandma really did like, and it made me really like it. In fact, to the point where I started my collection in 2002 with that first car, and it stemmed from that, where my grandpa had a diecast collection. It wasn't NASCAR. Well, it wasn't all NASCAR, but some of it was, and he ended up giving me some of those. And then every time, and that's not an exaggeration, every time they'd go to the store, like to Walmart or Dollar General at that time and stuff like that, I would get a diecast, whether it be one that I had or I didn't. Like it was one of those things where like if I could figure out how much they spent just on NASCAR stuff, I probably would want to know. Because like that RC car that I was talking about, my grandma got me for my birthday one year, and it ran for like a whole 30 minutes, and then it never got ran again. It's like one of those things that collecting really got me more into the sport. Like, we watched the races, and I remember us yelling back and forth because Ryan Newman was her driver until Carl Edwards got in. And I remember us, I want to say 2006, Martinsville, something like that. Might have been 2004, I'm not sure. But I remember us like yelling because Johnson and Newman were like passing each other for the lead, and it was getting to the lower part of the race. Or, the race was dwindling down. And, Johnson ended up taking it, and I remember her being not mad, but like, she was pretending to be mad.
Yeah.
That's just one of my core memories of like when I'm watching races. That's kind of what goes through my mind. But this is kind of gonna get depressing a little bit, but So my grandpa died in 2008, and my grandma was bedridden. So I kind of quit collecting around 2008 because, you know, I was taking care of her. I mean, my parents watched and everything, and I still got a couple here and there when, like, my parents would go to the store. But you know, it wasn't like my grandma, every time she'd go to the store, she'd get a car. So I kind of quit collecting in 2008. I still have stuff from, like I said, 2008. And then, instead of getting me cars, she would, I don't know if you'd call it needlepoint or what. She'd use like the plastic canvas and yarn, and she would sew cars. Whoever won the race that year, she made a car, and it got put up in on her wall. My wife's gonna get the binder that I have of them. I have 2 binders. Hang on. One's Kyle Busch. Look.
Might have to flip your camera because it's showing back on there.
Oh, is it? I'm just kind of showing you the cars, and it shows what down here. I know you guys can't really read it, but it has like the tracks that they won at. They got Michigan, Homestead, Dover, Darlington, Texas. I'm not. California. Okay. Got Carl Edwards. So she made like a whole bunch of these. This Jimmy Johnson. I have 2 binders and a bag. So these are kind of really near and dear to my heart. Well, she ended up passing in 2012, and yeah, she ended up passing in 2012, and I did not watch the sport just because like it made me think of her, and I was very, very close to my grandma. Very close. So, like I said, I ended up not watching the sport until my buddy Bolton got me back into it at the very end of the 2021 season. Yeah, I don't know if you heard my wife, but my buddy called me up one day, and like I said, we're really close. He's like, "Hey guy, what are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, nothing much." He's like, "I've got this brand new sport that I've never heard about, and I've watched this entire season. I think you should check it out. I think you'd like it." Like, okay, whatever. I'll be up there in just a second. And I wasn't really thinking about it being NASCAR, with it being Sunday and stuff like that. Like I said, I didn't really think about NASCAR. I walk in, and he has the Watkins Glen race, 2021, on. And I was like, "Oh, you're watching NASCAR?" He's like, "How'd you know that?" And I was like, "Dude, you have no idea." So we watched the race and everything, and I really got into it. And I was like, okay, that brings back a whole lot of nostalgia. And I was like, well, where's all these drivers? And I started naming them off, and he's like, well, they don't race anymore. Okay. So, we got to really talk, and I was like, I have something really important to show you. Come by my parents' house. And I told him, it was like a week later. He's like, okay, I'll be there. Oh, did we? Okay, so never mind. We had it at my house. I went and got it at my parents during that week. And I had a tote of, 2 totes of early NASCAR stuff that I had collected. Because I never threw it away. I never got rid of it. It was one of those things that, I didn't want to look at it, but I didn't want to get rid of it. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. So I brought all that stuff out, and he's like, I had no idea. And I was like, right? And then that jump started me, which this was a little bit before me and you started talking. We started talking at the end of 21, 22?
Somewhere around there. I don't remember exactly what it was. Has it been a couple years already?
Yeah, because we started playing in December of 22. Yes. Yeah.
if
Yeah, I
can
know.
go
So
look
it was
this up.
December
Hold
of 22. Okay, so dang, we've been talking for a couple of years. Yeah, I know that.
on. You joined the Vuku Cup Series server November of 22.
So yeah, it was like July of 22 when I started
Yeah.
playing GTA with you. Because I played
Yeah.
GTA with you before I. Dang, I didn't think it'd been that long already.
I'm fine sometimes.
Yeah. Dang.
I think
Anyway,
we haven't met in person yet either.
oh, right?
That's only a couple months away now, though.
I was about to say it's only a couple months away, and who knows? It might be a yearly thing after that. But
Yeah. With spousal approval.
yeah. Well, my wife said she doesn't think you'll want to deal with me after we meet in person, so
We'll see.
we'll see. But
We may be the
anyway.
same exact person in person. Who knows?
Not look. Yeah, her dad.
I'm
so
much
her
better
dad
looking.
watched our podcast. Her dad watched our podcast before I shaved and everything, and he's like, "Oh, y'all look alike," and I was like, "I don't see it." That's neither here nor there. Anyway, so I got back into NASCAR. I started slowly collecting again, which I mean, it wasn't like it is now, where I'm like, I really need this.
Yeah.
It was a snowball. So like I started, I can remember I picked Chris Bell as my driver just because he was an Oklahoma native from Norman. And so I think I started with one of his cars. I think that's one of the first ones that I got. No, it was a Johnson car that I got first. Then which one was it? I didn't count that. I was talking about from my collection. Right, I pre-ordered his Roval win and never got it. That's right. Okay.
They go hunt them down.
So I went on eBay and rage ordered a bunch of Chris Bells. So yeah, I got my
Maybe you do have a problem.
I know I do. So and then we started talking and everything, and I was, I just started playing GTA with you. I was like, okay, whatever, and then you and VP started talking about the race, and I was like, oh, you guys watch NASCAR, and then I found out you were a Johnson fan. I was like, oh, that's even better. And so history snowballed. Now we're making a podcast together, play together all the time. It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
So that kind of leads us into today. So let's talk about your first race.
All right, so I watched probably a good, few years before I even considered going to a race. And first race that I went to, did we give free tickets, or did we just? I think that's what it was. Me and her got free tickets, and our oldest at the time was still an infant, so she didn't need a ticket. But we wound up going to Texas Motor Speedway, which was I want to say the spring race of 2009. I've been to Texas 3 times. I didn't get to Texas until late 2008. But yeah, we went up. We had free tickets just in the grandstands. Got her little earmuffs or whatever to put on for our oldest daughter now that's about to be 15. Not to put my age out there. But yeah, it was a pretty good race. Honestly, don't remember much about it other than I want to say Rusty Wallace wound up winning it. The number 2 Busch Light car, or not Busch Light car, it was just Busch. And it was like a late into the race kind of dramatic fashion type deal. But yeah, I was hooked of going to races then. Wound up buying tickets to the next Texas race because they were going to Texas twice back then. We went back in the fall of 2009 to watch another race. And unfortunately, Jimmy, I think only lasted like 3 laps. We got wrecked out in that one, but we won't talk about it.
Hashtag Daytona 500.
That was the Dickies 500 was the second one we went to. Also in 2009. Jimmy Johnson didn't have as much fun that race. Now the third time I went, it kind of ties into that autographed diecast back there. It was the spring race the following season. The spring, I don't remember. Whatever date the AAA Texas 500 was in 2010. They actually came to the base that I was stationed at, which is Fort Hood, and grabbed up a bunch of soldiers that wanted to go watch NASCAR, right? So they put us on a bus. Dramatic fashion, we couldn't just get to the race safely, you know. The bus that I happened to be on decided to try and go in between staying on the interstate and getting off on an exit. And it was under construction. The bus went off the road and wound up on its side. So I was
that sounds like
staring at the road through the side window.
Basic military fashion, boy.
Yep. But anyways, nobody was injured. I think they wound up taking one person to the hospital, but the rest of us waited for a replacement bus, hopped on it, and kept on rolling. Of course, when we got to the track, they're like, "Oh, y'all were late." Like, well, our bus driver sucks. But anyway, after we got there, we got a cool.
We do a kickflip on our bus. So.
Yeah, I don't think I have it anymore. But speaking of unique memorabilia, they had one of those cushiony small ice chests for the AAA Texas 500 with like the AAA logo and stuff on it. But Greg Biffle was sponsored by AAA back then, and he actually signed it. That was pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
But to top that experience off, we were in uniform this time because we went as the U.S. Army, you know. We got to line up where the drivers come down for driver introduction. And as Jimmy Johnson got called and started walking down, that's when I reached out and with a Sharpie in the car, and he actually stopped and signed it real quick as he was walking down. That was pretty cool. My wife actually hunted it down and found that it was actually not the part of him actually signing it, but the part of me sticking it out to him was actually on NASCAR television. Not to brag, but I'm a TV star now.
Oh, me too. Don't worry, I'm on Netflix. You mean like one like kind of like this?
Yeah.
What you talking about?
Yep.
Yeah.
But it had the
I have
16
two
on
of those. I've got that one and a Tony Stewart.
It had the 16 on there. But yeah, that was the day I got that one there signed. Because to answer his question from earlier is the one I would take with me. I only got to choose one. But yeah, so outside of that, those were really the only 3 races I went to for a while up until last season. Through VetTix here, I actually got some really cheap tickets to go to Talladega for the playoff race. Sorry about the coffee, y'all.
You need to fix it right now. There will be no coughing on this podcast.
But yeah, so I've been to 4 races now. 3 at Texas, 1 at Talladega. We'll be adding at least 2 more this season, but we'll get to that.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about my first race that I have seen in person. So, like I said, I didn't get back into the 2021 season. Well, shout out to my wife who did not understand NASCAR at that time, but loves me enough. She was like, well, why don't we just go to a race? We're 3 hours from a racetrack. Okay, that sounds like fun. She's like, oh, and your best friend can come too, I guess. His mom even was like, I pray for you. Talking to Haley, because she's like, those two are idiots.
Sounds like a true NASCAR fan.
Free. So I had my 3-year-old daughter. Let me take a step back. So in 2012, I had saved for like a year, right? And I had bought tickets to Texas. And unfortunately, they were for the like the couple of weekends when I remember what happened. So my grandma got put in a nursing home because of her legs and stuff. She could have her therapist there, and she wasn't allowed to go. But that weekend that she got put in the nursing home was the race, so we didn't get to go to it. Which my aunt, I'm pretty sure my aunt gave me the money back and stuff. Somebody ended up giving me the money back, but I didn't get to go to, because I had tickets to Texas that year. Because I had told my grandma I was going to take her to a race because she had never been to one in person. Watched them on TV from the 70s till 2012, and anyway, so I didn't get to go. Which, when I started watching again, I told Haley that, and she's like, "Well, you're gonna go." Okay, whatever. Yeah, and we're taking your friend. So I have an 8-month pregnant wife, a 3-year-old. Oh my God, a 7-month pregnant wife, an idiot best friend, and a 3-year-old. We all jumped in the car, drove 3 hours to go watch the Hollywood 500 at Kansas. 500?
I think it's 500, yeah.
Anyway, in 2022, first race, I had no idea what to expect. And we all know that pregnant women have to use the bathroom a lot, and our seats were on the start-finish line. We were like literally 2 rows, 3 rows maybe. Yeah, I wanted right there at the car. It's kind of like what I told you for Nashville.
Spoiler alert.
So, spoiler alert, we're going to be pretty close. So, about every hour, I would say, because we got there really early because, we wanted to go see the haulers, and I had never been. I wanted to explore.
Yeah.
We got there at 9 a.m. The gates didn't open till like 10:30. So, and we didn't have the pre-race pass or the pre-race pass or anything. Yeah, we had our ice chest, and we're the typical first-time racers. We brought everything. We had 3 backpacks, 3 ice chests, 2 bags, plus the stuff that we had just bought. It was awful, and it was so hot that day. It was stupid hot. It was like it had rained the night before, and it got humid and like 90 degrees. Yeah, it's a true NASCAR passion raining. And like I said, if you've ever been to Kansas, which I don't use, you haven't.
I have not yet.
So the way the bathrooms are like mid-level in the stands, so we had to climb like 40 to 50 steps every hour because she had to go to the bathroom. And I was like, oh, I'm not gonna let you. No, we didn't.
She was trying to put herself in the labor, is what she was doing.
That's probably what it was. He said you're trying to put yourself in labor. But and so one time, right, like before the race started, she had to go, and I was like, okay, I'll go with you because I want to check out the booths up here. She's like, okay. So we get up there, and I come back, and my buddy's sitting there with my daughter, and he's like, man, I was gonna do something, but I didn't know how you felt. I'm like, okay, what is it? He's like, well, this gentleman came up to me, and he's like, I have 2 passes for you and your daughter. Get on the field if you want, and they're pit passes. And I was like, and you didn't take it? He's like, well, I didn't want to make you mad because it's you. I was like, dude, a text would have sufficed. He was like, oh, well, I didn't think about that. And I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah, he's been a really good friend since like my freshman year. So I've known him forever. It wasn't that big of a deal, you know. Yeah, he felt so bad after that. And we parked we didn't know about like express parking and all that. And we didn't know that in Kansas you park in a field, but like you gotta walk half a mile to get to the thing.
Oh, Dega's the same way.
So yeah. Well, Dega, at least it's like clearly marked. In Kansas, you have no idea where you're going. They're literally opening like cattle guards so you can. Oh yeah. Well, they had a parking pass. You remember? Yeah, but we had already walked a quarter mile, and I looked at Cole and I was like, if you want to walk back, you. But I was so excited at that point, right? Like, I straight up almost like broke down crying. That's how excited I was. So the race was really good. Bubba Wallace won. That's the only thing that I really didn't care for. You know, it was a great race. It was good enough that my wife really got into the sport after that. Like, she knows what's going on just about as much as I do. In fact, you know this. It may be a little late, but she'll come back and say, "Did you see this?" When we're talking about news and stuff.
Yeah. Now that she's in our Discord.
Yeah. Now that she's in our Discord, she can see if we've seen it or not. But anyway, so then in the last season, we decided we were gonna go to Texas, but then we broke down and we were like, you know what? Let's just go to Darlington. So we made it to the Southern 500. It was a really, really cool trip. We stopped. So it was an all-week trip. It was very, very busy, which we said we were not doing that again. So it was me, her, our oldest daughter, which was what, fourth time. My buddy, his daughter, which was 3 at the time, and my mom. So we piled in 2 cars. Yeah, the baby was at home because we didn't want to take her. She was still too small. She's gonna come with us this year, but so we piled in. We drove, I think, like 6 hours that first day because I had gotten off work and we left. Right? Yeah. Drove and we made it to Memphis, somewhere like that. And we didn't do anything in Memphis. But then the next day we drove to Charlotte, North Carolina. We stayed the night in Charlotte, and when we got up, we went to the Hall of Fame. And let me tell you something, Morton, you've got to go to the Hall of Fame. It is very, very cool. They have a deal where it's like $50, and it's all you can play on the sim, which the sim is really cool. You get $10 in the gift shop, and you get a free yearbook from a different year. So like the one that I got was 2013. I've got some videos and stuff that I might post later on our Twitter. Or actually, if you go into our Discord, which I'm sure we'll put in the description video, yes. I have a thing where it's got some of the pictures from our tracks and stuff. We'll be adding some very soon, actually. But
yep.
So me and my buddy Cole, we did a bet, right? Because they have a mock pit where you can time, yeah, just the one tire, but you can time you can get your time for lifting the car, changing the tire, and filling it up. We said whoever did it fastest is going to sorry, a notification popped up on my... Anyway, whoever did it fastest owes the other one a 164th from the Hall of Fame, because we both collect 160. I definitely more than him. He mainly only collects Joey Logano. But anyway, so I ended up winning that. I got that car. We drove from Charlotte to right outside Darlington. I forget the town name. Florence, I think is what it is. And while we were driving past the track while the Xfinity's running, right? And you can feel the cars in your car. Darlington was definitely way better than Kansas. Definitely way better because it wasn't as hot. I mean, it was still hot, but it wasn't as hot. And we ended up stopping at one of the tents that have like old die cast and memorabilia and stuff. I spent a lot of money there. So we go to our hotel after that.
While we're at Nashville, by the way.
Oh, I'm finding one while I'm in Texas too. Don't you worry.
Might have to find one at Digger. I didn't see one last time I was at Digger.
Haley got a really cool deal. If you want to get it, it's right up there on the top underneath that hard hat box. So she got a really good deal. Yes, that one. It says Elite on it. Got an E on it. Yeah, I was about to say, do not rip that. So she got a really cool deal on this car. It's kind of hard to see, at least from what I can see. You can for right now, but I'll have to turn. But so like I found a couple things that were pretty cool, and she got this. That's kind of delayed. Stuff like that. It's a Chrome Elite.
I know that driver.
Kevin Harvick NASCAR. So this is like the 2004 Looney Tunes. This is hers, not mine. It's hers. Yeah. She has a couple cars that sit in my collection that aren't mine.
Since we're busting out the Chrome Looney Tunes car.
He's got the Johnson.
I collect
Yeah.
You're right.
So
Right there.
She collects a lot of
hood is the signature.
Yeah. I have a signature too. Don't you worry.
The one like this that was not the Chrome edition. My first car that I know.
So I have the 118. But anyway, so we go home. Oh.
Luckily your camera's not picking up the dust particles.
Oh,
I had to dust that one off before I put it on camera too, don't worry.
It's Terry Labonte's Monster car when he drove for Kellogg's. That's one of hers too. He collects like the cartoon ones, the Kids Foundation ones, the Pet Foundation ones. Pretty much anything that has a good cause or just catches her eye.
He's gonna get that Alex Bowman from this season, huh?
Oh yeah. I have the
Paul Prince
120. I'm sorry, I don't have. She's got good luck reaching it all the way up there. She has the Authentics from last year. It's not mine, but it sets with the rest of my Bowmans. But yeah, there's the it's buried under all of those over there. So this is not a collection. I'm trying to get through a story.
That's for a separate time.
Yeah, I will let you put your collection out in your collection. Okay, so Darlington, we went through the tents and stuff. It was a really cool experience. Never been to those tents. I suggest you really go because you get diecast really cheap there. It's not that, but the people are so friendly. Like my daughter and my buddy's daughter were just getting stuff given to them. Like it was so like as a community, like you know what I mean? NASCAR people are so nice as a community. I mean, don't get me wrong, you get some people that are just like, my driver's this, and if your driver's that, I hate you. But like in general, you got most people like, oh, you know, your daughters are cute. I love seeing kids in the sport. I did not. I forgot about that. So back to I know I'm jumping back and forth because my wife is reminding me of stuff. In Kansas.
Sounds like we need a third host.
Right? She's eating Oreos, so that's not going to happen. So in Kansas, we were leaving our hotel to go to the race, and this guy pops out of his room. We were getting ice in our ice chest and stuff. The guy's like, does your little girl like race cars? I was like, well, yeah. I mean, that's kind of part of the reason we're here. She really does like, cars. If it's purple, which there have been purple cars ever since. So he goes, well, I got something for her. Hang on. He goes back in his room, and I'm thinking like, oh, he's gonna pull out, like a hero card or something. This man comes back with a stack like that thick of hero cards. And not just like regular hero cards. I think 1 or 2 of them had signatures on them. Yeah, they are. They are legit signatures. So, a lot. Hallie Deegan. She just moved to Xfinity. So, yeah, that's who he originally gave her, because he asked if she knew any girl drivers. And then she shook her head no, because, I didn't really watch the Craftsman series, which I've gotten to where I'll watch them if they're on and stuff. But,
looking forward to watching it tomorrow.
I am too. I'm ready for Raja to take another win, because that's my truck driver. Let's go, Raja. Anyway.
I don't know if I have anybody I'm particularly following in the truck series.
So my truck series is Tori when she's in it.
Yeah, she's mostly ARCA right now, though.
Yeah, she's mostly ARCA. Did you see that? Well, I might save it for our actual regulars. I don't know, because we don't really cover trucks or anything. Did you see that Frankie Muniz? That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. That was this past weekend, right?
I don't think so. I think that's this weekend, isn't it?
I thought it was last week. I could be wrong.
It might be. Anyway.
Let me go to my notes
story
for our episode that we didn't do.
Back to my story. This guy gave her a bunch of hero cards and all that. What'd you say? I'm sorry.
I said because somebody decided to have emergency stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, it was for Phoenix.
Okay.
I'm a 35.
My bad. I thought it was for this weekend. But Xfinity's not running this weekend.
No. Never mind. I didn't think of that.
It's not news.
Fact either.
Never mind. It's not news. Don't worry about it. Anyway. So he handed Loretta, which I have them put up because he just didn't really, she's a 4-year-old. She doesn't really care about pictures. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're right. She had them for our trip, and then she's the one that told me to put them up. So they are put up with some of my hero cards that I had growing up. Yeah, I've got all her stuff put kind of. But anyway, back to Darlington. So we got there at Darlington, and we had their pre-race passes. So we got there early. Got there probably about 10 o'clock one day. Yeah, it was. No, I swore it was like 10. Okay. Anyway, we got there at like 9:30.
I need to get her on microphone so people can hear her.
I know, right? Then we need to get you your own microphone so people be our third.
Be our third host. You don't have to have a webcam, but you can be
you don't have to have a webcam. We'll just put like an avatar up for you.
That or you can have your voice and like be the chat monitor.
There you go. You just gotta watch the chat. Make sure nobody's saying. Anyway. Oh yeah. So they parked us in the tailgating area. And then right after we went past it, they were like, "Oh crap, this is the tailgating area. So don't park here." So we got set up by a lot of cool people that were like, "Oh, you want a drink? You want something to eat?" Da da da. It was really cool. So we go to the gate, and it says Darlington, whatever, Darlington Speedway, whatever. What are you doing? You're knocking crap off. Anyway. So we walk up, and of course the haulers aren't there, or they're there, but they're not open yet. So we're just kind of walking around. It's already warm. So the girls are sitting in the shade, and the haulers start opening up. Everybody like, well, we're gonna go check out a hauler. Oh, I'm going to. Don't you worry about that. Me and my buddy walked over to the. Oh Who did Sheldon Creed run for last year? The Hendrick and the number 2 car. Was it Penske?
Last year, you said?
Yeah, he ran the number 2 car.
Richard Children.
Okay, yeah, he ran for Childers. So we went to their hauler. Thank you. Both of you. Both. Okay. So we.
I got a
went to their hauler
microphone
because they were
more
the first.
important.
The death stare that you're getting right now. So we went over there and the guy. He said Sheldon was there last night, and they had like a couple things that he signed that nobody bought yet. Okay, what is it? He's like, I got a hat and I got a koozie. And I'm like, how much is the hat? He's like, $45. Ugh, I spent a lot of money yesterday. So what about the koozie? He's like, I can give you the koozie for $6. And I'm like, can you do 5? He's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, deal. Yeah. So like we had walkie-talkies in case we got separated. And I was like, okay, so I know I told you I was only getting a track car, because I did pick up a track car. I was like, but there was a really good deal for a signature, and I took it. Like, okay, whatever. Yeah, so she told me that we needed to find something purple for Loretta, my old. And the only thing purple was a stupid Denny Hamlin hat. So we walked away, and I paid $40 for that stupid hat. And it was too big for her. Yep, purple FedEx hat, which I have no hats at.
All right, I bought my oldest son a Legacy Motor Club hat while we were at Talladega, and I don't know if he knows where that hat's at anymore.
Like, I would love to be Eric Jones. I don't even check.
Right?
But yeah, I know. I know. In fact, fun fact, I have 4 Hoodsies Suarez cars. 3 of them are opened.
I'd be surprised if he doesn't race it again.
There are 3 open because I only have 1 on this wall, and I have no idea where the 3rd one's at because I seen the 2 earlier, probably. But yeah, so I have 3 open because my daughter loves the purple. I'm surprised she hasn't seen the Bowmans that have purple on it and say,
give it time.
oh, the blue one with the, yeah, I know. That one was a cool car. I had someone that, but anyway, back to Darlington. We were, we get in, we go through the haulers and everything. We get the picture by the big 75. That was, it was a really good experience. You know what I mean? So the gates open and we go down through the track. They get it open for a pre-race concert. And we find out that you can get out kind of back by the pits. You can't go in the pits, but you can get behind them to like the RV access. We did get to sign the track. I forgot. Yep. So, yep. We got a picture, and I don't think that ever got. So we did that. We got to sign the track and all that. Got down by the pits, and as we're walking back to the stands, a Sunoco official, the guy that is ahead of all the fuel for the cars, he gets my attention. And I walk over where they all walked ahead because they couldn't hear him because it was loud, you know what I mean?
It's not loud at NASCAR events.
Yeah, I know. Which my mom has heart problems, and we were trying to get to where we could sit down and stuff because it was hot and heat and all that makes her problems double pretty much. So we were trying to get somewhere, and that guy gets my attention. Well, they're walking on and stuff. like, are you with those 2 little girls? I was like, yeah, one's my daughter and all that. He's like, well, give him one of these. And he hands me 2 lug nuts from the. Well, I have no idea what car they're from or what, but they are Xfinity lug nuts. Anyway, so we get that, and I give my daughter hers, and then I give my buddy for his daughter, because she's, like I said, she's 3 at this time, and a mess, but I love her to death. No, I'm not saying she was bad. I'm saying she was crazy.
Typical child.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, she wasn't really a troubled child. She was just excited about what we were doing, and then she was getting tired at that point. So, and then fast forward, we don't stay down for the pre-race concert and all that, because there's so many people there, and my mom needed to sit down and cool off a little. Yeah, there were so many people like standing right there by the start finish, like you were getting shoved, and it was nuts. Couldn't hear anything. So anyway, we go back up to the stands and all that, and the race starts. And if you watch NASCAR Full Speed episode 2, timestamp 13:55, you can see me and my daughter standing right behind the flag waver. So see, I've been on TV too.
I've been on TV for something not related to NASCAR as well, but we won't get into that.
Well, you should have robbed that bank in '99.
Oh, no, it wasn't that. Ironically, it was a dog show, so your wife might be interested, or may have watched the series when it was on.
Dog show? Take your dog to...
No. It was a TV show called Dog Whisperer with Caesar Malone. Yeah.
And you had a terrible dog?
I wouldn't say she was terrible. She was just afraid of people in uniforms. But that's not NASCAR related. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, because now my wife's like, I need to know, because I'm going to watch this.
Full on episode, buddy.
I have never been on like that.
It's called Army Brats, by the way.
Oh, Army Brats. I feel like I've watched this, but that's neither here nor there. I can finish my story real quick.
Yep.
Yes. So, Darlington Starts is a good race. They had a fire in the pits with, I want to say, Reddick. Tyler Reddick, I think.
They had a gas can get on fire at Talladega this past season.
Yeah, it was kind of the same setup, you know what I mean? But it was a good race. Kyle Larson ended up winning. But our trip wasn't over there. Like I said, we stopped at the Hall of Fame, and we went to the race, and on our way back, we stopped in Talladega, and we got to go take the tour of the track. And let me tell you that, if you're ever there, I would love to see it on race day. I've never seen it on race day, but the tour is totally worth it. It was like $15 a person, I think. Wasn't that what it was, babe? The tour of Talladega, $15 a person. And like the kids were free. So they take you on this bus, you get to sign the track. They'll take you up in the Fox booth. And then they'll take you like all the way around the track. They'll talk about the history. You get to see Big Bill, which is like the infield restaurant. He'll talk about a little bit about that. You get to go into Victory Lane. It was really, really cool. They'll take you around some of the campgrounds. It was definitely worth it. We got to go there and sign the track. I think I've got pictures of our signatures on the track. That was really cool. Like I said, I would love to see it during a race, but maybe not when I have my kid.
It wasn't too bad. I had 3 kids with me when I went last time. So.
Well, the way that they described it,
they were teenagers though.
Crazy. Dega. Yeah, where like they talked about like Mardi Gras Row or Party Row. Yeah, I know. But anyway, so that's all the tracks that I've been to and the races that I've been to. Now, coming up in a few weeks, me and my wife have tickets to Texas. We're gonna we get to meet and greet with Chris Bell. I'm gonna try to get his signature, maybe ask him a question, who knows. And if I do end up getting a signature, we're gonna be doing a giveaway, which even if I don't, we're gonna be still doing the giveaway, but it won't be for a Chris Bell signature. And then Voodoo, you have Talladega that next
the week after you go to Texas.
Yeah.
I'll be going to Talladega again. I'll be bringing my wife and my 2 older kiddos. We won't be doing any fancy meet and greets or nothing. But
well, our Texas trip is for my wife's birthday. That's her birthday weekend, and I told her that I just wanted to take her out. And it originally started that we were just going to go either to Branson, Missouri or Dallas, Texas. Because those are like the stuff that have stuff going on around. Yeah. But so I told her, and I was like, okay, well, we're going to Texas. And that's going to be race weekend. I said, I told her like 10 times, you can ask her. I was like, you do not have to go to the race. I don't want to pressure you into it. You know, I want you to enjoy your birthday weekend. Says, well, I got this really cool. Well, at first we weren't gonna go. We just talked about maybe stopping at like the tents and seeing what they had there, and just going and doing something completely different. And then she says, well, I got an email, and since I'm a student, I get tickets for like $15 a piece. $25. Okay, $25 a piece. And I was like, oh, that's a great deal. You know, if you want to do it, that's fine. I'm not gonna make it. And then she comes around and says, well, I found this even really cool, better deal. I know. Yeah, you got to see my reaction about that one. I don't know if we were streaming or what, but okay, so we were just playing. But and then we talked about it, and I was like, well, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. She's like, well, they got a meet and greet for tickets, and it's the same seats that I was gonna get. I was like, okay. Well, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. Like, well, I thought about getting better seats, but it's cheaper to get the meet and greet and then the little bit worse seats versus the better seats. I was like, do what you want. If you want to go, that's fine. If you don't, that's fine. So we ended up with tickets to Texas, and this will be the first time that I will see Johnson race in person, and I'm super excited about it.
yeah, it's not gonna be my first time, but I've seen him race a few times. Just saying.
I know, but see, you've been going to races a lot longer than I have.
Well, I mean, I went to 3 races over a 2-year period, and went to one last year. I don't know if you can really count that.
Well, I started going to races. I started in 22, so.
Yeah. I'd been to a few
But
races.
that's not where the fun
yeah.
stops, because we fast forward like 6 weeks from Talladega, I think it is. I could be wrong. It could be more or less. And then we will
Let's
both
see.
be in Nashville.
9 weeks. 10 weeks.
Okay. Well, still, that's not too awful bad. That's like, what, 3 months?
About 2 and a half.
April, May, June. Yeah. Well, it's closer to 3. As far as like from Texas and Talladega. But yeah, about 3 months, give or take.
Unfortunately, Jimmy
we'll
won't
be
be
going-
racing at Nashville or Dega.
I'll send pictures. But we will be going to Nashville.
Yeah, and that'll be my first time at Nashville Super Speedway.
Same. And like we plan on doing a couple of extra bonus. Well, yeah, kind of bonus episodes if we have time.
Something similar to what we're doing now,
Yeah,
but maybe
we'll
not
be in
as
the same
structured
place.
because we'll be on site.
On site in the same place, you know. Any of you guys want to meet up, be sure to hit us up. glad to stop by and say hey.
We might do something like Bob
together.
Parker's and them do like a little tweet up or something. Do a podcast meetup.
That'd be pretty. But yeah, we've got some things. I should have my merch by the next week. Good. Ordered it, but we'll see how it looks. If I have it by Monday, which I kind of doubt, I will be wearing my hat for podcast, which I'm going to be wearing it in Texas and probably not. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to Nashville.
Fine,
Remember now. I don't even remember now. I lost my train of thought.
Yeah. If we meet up and we decide that we don't extremely hate each other, then the podcast will
Could be,
continue. And we may, like you mentioned earlier, turn it into an annual meetup at some track, which we'll try not to have the same track every year, hopefully. Because we got, I would say, 3 or 4 that are like two are really close to you and 2 are really close to me. Gotta rotate
which
them.
honestly, Vega is like 5 hours for you.
Yeah, like 5.5, something like that.
9 for us. About 9.5. So that's not a terrible.
Texas is about
Kinda like
9 hours for me.
Kind of like Nashville.
Nashville's a
It's
nice
not
little drive.
terrible. I'm sure it's like probably 9 or something. 9 to 12.
Yeah, I don't.
About 8.5 or about 8.5, 9 for us. Yeah, Texas. I am literally in the middle between Texas. Either one.
My technical home track would be bigger now. Closest one.
Yeah, it takes about 4 hours to get to. I think I just said.
Now, if we get super successful, maybe get to some more of the bigger name races, like do a podcast meetup at the Daytona 500 or something.
Yeah, if you guys want to donate to a good cause, you can buy us tickets, NASCAR race, and plane tickets to get there, and a hotel.
Yep. We would gladly accept.
We will gladly accept, and we will give you the content you deserve.
Yep.
But yeah, so that's kind of what this episode was supposed to be. It's get to know your host, kind of let us tell you about our backstory. I think we're gonna have one more bonus episode come out. I don't know when. Before Nashville, I think. Not sure. Like I said, we haven't really talked about it.
That's a couple months from now, so I would say that's a pretty good bet.
Yeah. But I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I know it was kind of not very structured. I mean, I like the way that we're doing this one a little bit better as far as technical wise. It feels more personal. You know, we're not talking through headsets and stuff. I'm actually sitting down and having a conversation with you.
We're growing.
I don't know how you. Yeah, well, that's definitely one thing that I will say. This podcast is growing, and it's like it's a labor of love. You know what I mean? If you guys remember the first version of this podcast where I was doing it by myself, it was not this clean, this edited. Well, I wouldn't really say edited. It's not this clean. It wasn't as thought out. It was just I'm gonna throw numbers at you and hope you. And I didn't like doing it that way. I don't think you ever listened to any of it, Voodoo. If you did, you know what I'm talking about.
I'd listened to a few episodes before we started doing it.
Yeah, so like all I did was gave you the rundowns of the tracks. I didn't give you really any, I gave you some of the major news and stuff. But doing it by myself, I mean, like I didn't have anybody holding me accountable. my ADHD ran through the hills. You know what I mean? But I reached out to Voodoo because he does really good as far as like the slides and everything. Yeah, all these slides and the templates that you're seeing us on, that's all Voodoo. He does really good. Most of the notes he does, like my producer. And I really do appreciate it. I don't know how to like else to say it. Like when I started, praise Dale. It was just a Spotify channel, and like I said, it was very B-rate. It was me throwing numbers at you, like, oh, on lap 231, Bubba hit the wall, or on lap, whatever. They got this stage win, whatever. And like some of the things that I like about this new platform is what I'm going to start calling it, like the new platform. Is I'm not just sitting there throwing numbers at you. I actually am having conversations with Voodoo, and like it's more of a conversation. It's more of a, well, what do you think about this? You get what I'm saying, Voodoo? Like when I asked you to join it, I was really looking for something that was missing, and you definitely have brought this podcast to life. So I just want to say a big thank you for helping me do this. You've taught me a lot about how to run Twitch, how to do different scenes, how to do this. You've definitely taught me a lot, because when I started this, I knew absolutely. All I knew is I can hit play on my phone and record a really bad episode. But now I can hit play on my computer and make a somewhat decent one. And, we're getting people's feedback. Our YouTube channel, which this is going to go on, has like 800 views, and it's amazing to me.
That's just in the last 28 days, by the way. We got more views than that.
Oh yeah, we have like 1,100 total. The last I looked, which was like at the beginning of the week. And then you put together these really cool like skiing videos that like I have no idea how you do it. You're just like, you know what I mean?
A magician never reveals his secrets.
I really do enjoy like watching those videos and stuff, and like getting the updates, and like we said, we're family guys, we have jobs, so like a lot of times I don't really have time to run through the news as thoroughly as I like to. Whereas now we have two sets of eyes where like, well, did you see this? No, what did you see this? And we can collaborate and get a good outline going and keep you caught up. I can't tell you how much I've learned about NASCAR rules and just NASCAR in general since we started this new platform, and it is amazing. Instead of just being on Spotify, now it's on Spotify, YouTube, and Twitch.
Yeah. And
I think we're going to start branching out to Kick. I'm not sure, but it's really cool. I'm looking forward to going to races, not just for a race. I'm looking forward to making content for that race. Like, I would love to make a hype video about, oh, this is the race we went to. This is so much fun.'t love to eventually get like drivers, Xfinity, Craftsman. I'd love to have a Tony interview, just a short one. Say, hey, and talk with them slightly. So my way future goals, and I have like 3 or 4, and we've talked about this a little bit before. So my future goals for this podcast, 1, I would like to make enough to go to a race, where it's not coming out of our pockets. Like if we decide, hey, we're going to go to Talladega this year, we've made enough revenue off of our podcast where it'll buy our tickets for us. That's my first goal. My second goal, I would love to interview an actual driver and have like an official interview, talking with them, talking about, well, how did you feel when this happened? If you were going to tell a driver that's up and coming how to make it, what would you say? Stuff like that. My third one is I would eventually, and I know it's crazy expensive, would love to sponsor a car, even if we were with a partnership with more podcasts. I would love to see our logo on a car.
That would be nice.
Or a truck. I'm even open to truck series.
We might have to start like way down in ARCA.
Well, you get what I'm saying. I would like at this point, Yeah, I knew that. Huh? Okay. Anyway, like, I would even be cool, like, if somebody was like, hey, I want to put you on my dirt track car.
Yeah.
Like, I would be so excited.
There's a dirt track that I want to start trying to go to that's only maybe about 45 minutes away. Not even that far.
So, I live in Muskogee, right? Well, right outside. We have, within an hour's radius of going, we have like 8 dirt tracks. Dude.
Redneck country.
Yeah, you think I'm playing? Well, we've got 2 up north. We've got 2 in Tulsa. We've got 2 here in Muskogee. We've got 1 over right by Arkansas. We've got like 7 or 8 tracks around.
I only know of 1, but there's probably more.
Well, I'm talking about like major tracks. Like, well, one of them's not really a major track, and one of them's just starting this year. But the rest of them, they're like where the Chili Bowl runs.
Yeah, I don't have that high profile.
So I really would like to go next year. I think it'd be fun, and I think it'd be a good chance to get autographs and or interviews, because a lot of Cup drivers go. Like Briscoe was there this year, Bell was there, Bush was there with his son, Larson come in from New Mexico, flew overnight, raced 2 races, and then flew back to New Mexico. Who else was there? There's a bunch of Cup drivers there. No, Harvick wasn't. I don't think it was either one of them. Jesse Love, our rookie in Xfinity, he was there. He flipped. So did Larson, but I would like to go to that, stuff like that. But yeah, I love just seeing where all this is going. Like I said, we're getting a whole lot more feedback than I was with just the Spotify thing running. But with this new platform, like, I can't say it enough. I really do appreciate everybody that like watches the videos, listens to them, comments, you know. I appreciate Voodoo for all he does. He does a whole heck of a lot, and I think he needs the appreciation. Like, it was just the only thing that I feel like I've done is showed up, talked my butt off, and had the original idea. And then from there, you know, I brought it to you, and you have made it 10 times better.
Well, I mean, that's part of what I do. I like being creative. You giving me kind of like the go ahead on being able to do whatever kind of helped out too.
Yeah, it's one of those, you're like, hey, I'm gonna do this. Okay, I don't care, do what you want. And it's not let me rephrase it. It's not that I don't care. It's okay, I trust you. If you think it looks good, it looks great.
Like the paint scheme videos for one, which
I really do like those. I'm not gonna lie, like what my wife said her goal is to catch a paint scheme before you do. So
good luck.
You're gonna have good luck. You're gonna have to watch Twitter, because I guarantee you, I have seen paint schemes drop 5 minutes, and I'll go to put them in the Discord, and he's already got it there, and I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Hey, I gotta have them ready for that video.
I know, but like, so I have gotten my coworker into the podcast, or into NASCAR again, because I won't shut up about it, and I'll play the paint scheme videos at work and all that, and we'll just go through it. So yeah, I just like watching people get pulled like back into a sport, especially after they've been missing it for a while. But as this podcast becomes a 3-hour podcast or episode,
we're only a little over an hour and a half right now. We're okay.
Oh, really? Okay. So, but yeah, I would like to know what your goals for this podcast is, and then we'll probably back out of it.
I would hate to kind of shout out other podcasts that are out there, but that's kind of the idea of where I'm getting like the structure that I bring up to it. Is the one that I closely follow, which I would like to get to, would be Eric Esteps Out of the Groove. which
I watched that one. I have his notification.
yeah. Now technically he does every day when news comes out, he does like a 15-20 minute video about it. We're not at that point where we're wanting to do that 15-20 minutes every day. We're just doing once a week because I don't know if we can commit 15-20 minutes every night, but
I don't know about that.
just to have the viewership that he does, I would say would be my long-term goal. I'm not worried about us being super huge and like a go-to news for everybody. I mean, we may not be everybody's cup of tea, but what I would like is for the few that we do get coming in, jump into the comments and tell us what you liked and what you didn't like, and that way we can kind of mold it to what you guys are interested in. And I mean, what we're doing now may not be the right way to go for the podcast, or it may be perfect. I mean, I doubt it because I'm not perfect. But yeah, like the same way I've watched him grow over the last couple of years. I mean, what was it, 2 or 3 years ago, he had his Out of the Groove logo just on the side of a car, back on the quarter panel or something. And then, like most recently, was it last season, I think? He had a full blown Out of the Groove car.
Yeah,
no, it was
last season
Xfinity,
for
but I mean,
go on a car on the national level.
And I mean, he's got sponsors reaching out left and right, like helping him cover cost of trying to get all the production done and all that stuff. And I mean, I imagine he's probably got a small team now that helps him out, but he was probably by himself editing everything and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, because he started with stop motion.
Yeah, back with the diecast races. Yep, I remember that. Which I think he still does.
How I found him.
Just not as often.
Yeah, that's how I found him, because I was watching the diecast stop motions.
Yeah. So one day if we could get to that side, but the biggest thing that I'm kind of hoping for now is just the people that do watch us. I think the statistic was pretty high, but it's something like 90-something% of people that are watching our videos aren't subscribed to us on YouTube. So hit that subscribe button for us. It doesn't cost you anything. Just a quick subscribe, and it helps us out tremendously. I think we're up to 14 people, which is a lot more than what I expected us to have at this point.
That's not a lie. So let's put it in perspective. I was live streaming for months. I'm talking like 6, 7, 8 months, right? This is only technically this is our first bonus episode, but this is only technically our 8th episode.
Yeah.
And
it would have been our 9th if I wouldn't have screwed it up for us.
Well, it's not like you had an option.
Right.
So by the time that, like I said, I streamed for months, and I was like every Wednesday I'd stream the Voo Crew Cup, and I'd stream different games. I only had like, I think 19 followers on Twitch after months. So it's crazy to go and look at, like we have pretty much that, and we've only been doing it for 8 weeks.
Yeah.
So like, you know what I mean? I love seeing the growth. I like hearing about like people that I know, you know what I mean, getting kind of back into the sport because of, you know, how excited I am about it. And I don't know if you have the same situation, but like I said, I have had people that like started watching, like my mom. She quit watching when I did in 2012. Well, now she kind of follows. It's not like she's religiously watching it like I do, but she kind of follows it, you know, if that makes sense. But I definitely love what I'm seeing. I'm sorry if I cut you off.
No, you're fine. I got a buddy's mom that every now and then I'll banter back and forth with, especially when Kyle Busch decides to win, or Jimmy Johnson beats Kyle Busch. But I haven't really asked her how she felt about the switch over to the 8 yet and dropping M&Ms, but
so that's one thing I did think about. So when we get people that start watching all the time and stuff, I'd like to ask them questions, and me and you pick whether they send like a comment or whatever. Pick not the most controversial or anything like that, but like the one that jumps out to us, and kind of feature that on each episode. Say, well, this person said, last week's question was this, and this person said this, and you get what I'm saying? I really want to start making not really a community, because we're all part of like a NASCAR community, but start like a exchange, I guess is what the word, like back and forth between us and them, and just you get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I don't know how else to describe it, but I hope you get what I'm saying.
Well, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a question. It could be just some idea you have that you may want us to cover in an episode. Like right now, all we're doing really is covering news that we see pop up and analyzing races, and then our S Cubed segment at the end of the episode is pretty much all that we're doing right now.
Well, you might want to explain the S Cubed, because it's formally known as Then and Now.
Yeah. So we decided to go ahead and change that. Trying to remember what the exact name is. I didn't write it down other than the slide.
Click, scheme, slides.
What we went with.
Yep. So we said we call it S Cubed.
Let's see if I got it.
Because we said that way, if one of us, like, if we could just pick schemes and it not be from like this last race, or we could just pick the schemes that we like.
Click scheme spotlight.
Oh, okay. I was close.
Yeah, so Slick Scheme Spotlight, or S Cubed, is what we're going to refer to it as instead of Then and Now. Just kind of to give it a different feel than, and Then and Now almost sounds like a now and later candy type deal.
Yeah.
Which we'll take a sponsor of that too.
I have an update about sponsors. I've told you, but I haven't told everybody else.
Alright.
So I know I told everybody that I emailed King's Hawaiian, and I received an email back, and they said they said they'd think about it, and they sent us to their marketing department, and I received a email from their marketing department talking about reviewing different things. But we'll see where that goes from now, because it was talking about reviewing things off their website. I don't know if they just accidentally sent it to me because their email, they're used to doing pretty much product control or whatever, but I'm not sure. I'll have to check it again. So far they haven't sent me anything else. Have you heard anything from your side of the sponsorship?
Now, I mean, for those that haven't followed, it's hard to speak English this way, right? I emailed Lionel Racing, considering he collects diecast, I collect diecast. Seems like a good fit. I emailed them, and they pretty much did the same thing. Sent it to their marketing team, and if they were interested, they reach out. But I haven't seen an update since.
So if you guys know any way that we can get sponsored, we'd gladly take a sponsor. I know for our streams, we are both sponsored by W.
That's on an individual level.
Yeah, that's on an individual level. I feel like we want a sponsorship for the podcast itself.
Yeah.
Like I said, I will be really looking like that, and I would like it to be NASCAR related. You know what I mean? Whether it be a sponsor for NASCAR or something. But if it's not, I get it. So yeah, if you guys know of anything, or if you just want to sponsor a segment yourself, reach out to us. If you really want to get a hold of us, DM us on X, RHPDpodcast, I think what it is. Is that what it is on X?
It'll be in the description below, and it'll be on a slide at the end of the podcast here when we drop off.
Like I said, if you guys want to sponsor us, we're not looking for anything crazy. As long as it's family friendly, we'll shout out a message or whatever.
Yeah. There's more things that we have in mind of doing for the podcast, but we don't want to start digging money out of our pockets extremely and putting out stuff. We'd rather it organically grow.
Definitely.
Be moving forward that way. We eventually can have a website to where we put our little slides of paint schemes on and race things, kind of similar to J-Ski's silly season site. We could do stuff like that.
I also think that eventually we will have more merch out.
Yes.
If we start adopting sayings or stuff like that, like it would organically come where we'd eventually get merch. Right now we have some merch. I have ordered some, so I'm gonna do an unboxing, and I'm gonna reveal what I ordered to you guys. It's nothing fancy yet. I'd like to get some other things. I have also special ordered something for me and Voodoo, which we will unbox in Nashville when I can give it to him in person. I actually have a couple of things for you that I gotta bring to Nashville. That like stuff like I was able to find that he wasn't. I am looking forward to what this podcast is gonna bring. Do you have any outgoing remarks before we close this episode?
Just what we mentioned before. The biggest thing that you guys can do right now to support us is just jump on all of our different social channels and drop us a follow, or on YouTube's case, a subscription. We're not asking you to drop money on us right now. Just follow us and watch the episodes, leave a like on it, listen to it on Spotify, whichever route you want to take. That's the biggest thing that could help us out right now.
Definitely. I will say that, so if you watch our live streams, we stream off Voodoo's channel. That's Twitch at twitch.tv/BOODEUX48, all lowercase. That's where we stream on Mondays at 7 Central Time.
Oh, we pushed it back to 8.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the
race.
Yeah, the race. I'm sorry.
That's Wednesday.
So it's 8 Central Time. Yeah, I'm sorry. That was my bad. 8 p.m. Central Time. And then I have started posting some TikToks on my personal TikTok just because I didn't use it before, except to scroll. So if you want to check out our TikTok, we have a couple videos up. That's jtdalllis, which I don't really worry about. I'll probably post it on Twitter or something like that. Or X, whatever you want to call it. And then of course we have our X, our YouTube. We talked about going to
got an Instagram. Don't really post on that much.
I really don't post on Instagram. I haven't even checked into the Instagram, if I'm being honest. Yeah.
Spotify.
I think that. Spotify, yeah. If you want to listen, and the video's available on Spotify too. Our YouTube and Spotify, the live stream from Mondays get uploaded on. I'm gonna catch them. It's usually at 9 o'clock in the morning on Wednesdays. Voodoo, our master of the keyboard and schemes, he posts his bonus episodes of the schemes every now and then for every race on YouTube. Be sure to check those out. Those are really cool. I love what he does with them.
Try to drop them on Thursday mornings, but we don't usually all the paint schemes in time for that race. Maybe a little bit later than 9 o'clock in the morning on Thursdays, but.
So I will say that Spotify's been kind of hectic, and I don't know why. It's like it hates me or something. So most of the time I'm able to get the episode posted on Wednesdays. but sometimes it just doesn't happen, and I will try to update you guys that happen. Because I don't know, a lot of times I will schedule it to upload, but it will not upload all the way, and it'll come back and say like the file's messed up or something, and then I will try it again when I get home from work, which is really about 5 Central, and then it'll go through magically, and I don't know, you know what I mean? It's not like I'm re-putting the file in and all that. It's like I'm literally hitting retry, and then it goes through. But thank you guys so much. Oh, I almost forgot. Thank God I had a reminder in the notes. We have a giveaway, and we're putting names down right now. So if you want to go in any of our posts on X or YouTube, or you can even do it in the comments while we're live streaming, just put your favorite track name in the comments or the chat, whatever, however you want to do it. And we will put your name down and all that. And then in July, technically, I think, June or July, whenever we go to Nashville, me and Voodoo are going to...
It's like the last day of June.
Yeah, June 30th. But depending on if everything works out, you know, we might be making videos after, we might push them after that. We will dang sure update you when that gets closer. But we are doing a drawing, and we're going to be giving away an autographed piece of NASCAR memorabilia, whether it be from Chris Bell from our meet and greet or something that we're able to get online. We will be doing a giveaway, and that's all you have to do to enter the giveaway is just put your favorite track down. Also, I didn't think to mention this earlier, but we are also having another type of giveaway. It's more of a competition in our NASCAR fantasy, which I'm sure Voodoo will put the link down to that down. Well, it's in our Discord too.
Yeah.
But if you don't know what NASCAR fantasy is and you're watching this, you got to download the NASCAR app on your phone. And once that downloads, you set up an account, and there's a part that talks about fantasy. And you can join leagues, which our league is RHPDpodcast. You have to make sure it says podcast on it, whether it's not ours. You join that. The code to get in is RHPD 2024. And whoever wins that league, me and Voodoo are in it, but we've discounted ourselves. Whoever besides us wins that league at the end of the season gets a 1/64th off the Lionel Race Shop of their choice, and we will purchase it and send it to you. Either that, or we will send you the funds to purchase it yourself. I'm not sure how we're going to do that, just because of the way Lionel shipping is and everything. A headache, especially if you're pre-ordering a car. I like Lionel just because they have, you know, all the cars and they're really nice. But like their website is kind of janky, and their pre-ordering is very difficult. Is there anything else that I'm forgetting?
I think that's it.
All right, you guys. Thank you for tuning in and listening to us ramble for 2.5 hours.
we haven't hit 2 hours yet. Calm down.
Oh, hey. I keep thinking it's like way longer than what it is. But thank you guys for listening to us ramble. I probably know why, because we were playing games before this, so I'm crediting that. But thank you guys so much. Be sure to hit that subscribe button or follow, whatever you're watching us on. Reach out to us. We want to hear from you guys. If you don't like something, let us know. If you have something to suggest, definitely let us know. Like I said, we want to build not a community. We want to grow off of the community that we're in. I keep saying build a community, but we're part of a community, or you would be here listening about NASCAR. Like I said, we're up to meeting up at these races that we're going to be at. Well, I know I am. I'm pretty sure Voodoo's okay with just saying hey, taking a picture, talking about the race a little bit. If any of you guys are going to Nashville, both of us will be at Nashville, and you want to meet up, hit us up in the Discord or on Twitter, whatever, and we will be sure to say, hey, what's up? I'm glad you like the podcast. You know, take a picture. I think one of my goals for the races is to just have fun. You know, I definitely am looking forward to them, but I'm not gonna get into that because I can talk another hour about NASCAR and
Save that for another episode.
there, like I said, there will most likely be more episodes coming out. So
Yeah, absolutely. Thank y'all for joining us for sure.
yeah. Until next time, RHPD will be signing off. Thank you guys so much.